So by now, there's little doubt that you must have heard that Saudi Arabia is abandoning the petrodollar. What does that mean? What does that mean for us? Is it doomsday? Is it the culmination of everything that stackers have been talking about? And, Russia and China, this is, BRICS is going to rise up. Saudi Arabia sees the writing on the wall and they're not renewing the 50-year agreement to use the dollar to purchase oil. I mean, that's a big deal, right? I mean, it's a big decision for them, for the last 50 years, basically to be captive and selling oil in US dollars and to turn their back on that. I mean, that's a pretty big move. I mean, I think it says a lot when you think about, the United States and their position in the world and everything, about the perception of what the United States is. Now, I mean, is this a recent development? Is this something that had been coming for a long time? Well, I mean, you've heard over and over again that this was coming, right? These countries are going to reject the United States because they don't trust us. They don't feel safe. We're not the power that we once were. We got to be the strong nation. And here we are. Here we are. Saudi Arabia is not renewing that 50-year agreement that they made back in the 70s. To use the dollar as the currency for oil. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And again, long time coming for people who talk about, the United States and the decline of the United States and, Saudi Arabia and just the rise of other nations on the world stage. It's pretty interesting. And I think, you could say, it's because of Joe Biden. You could say it's because of just the last few administrations, whatever. But it is a big deal, right? I mean, you can't say that Saudi Arabia, choosing not to use the dollar as its currency for oil is a big deal. I mean, that definitely is a big deal, except that's not what happened. And it has nothing to do with that. It's all completely false. It's actually really funny, to me, that so many people get duped and can't actually even read documents that they claim to know so much about. And it's funny to me also that, once they go down that rabbit hole of talking about the petrodollar, again, with something they know nothing about, and they throw things out there that are just complete BS, that it's just funny. So first of all, if you're in the crowd that thinks that the Saudi Arabia abandoned the petrodollar and, this is just a brave new world, congratulations. You're not alone. Lots of people, suckers, don't read, don't know anything about what they claim to know about or, talk about. But the reality is, it's just hilarious. So first of all, what am I talking about? Well, first, obviously the big squawkers out there. The reason that I thought I saw this was because I heard somebody on Kitco talking about it, and I was just like, what? So first and foremost, the petrodollar. What does it mean? So the common misconception is that back in the 70s, that Saudi Arabia basically agreed with the United States to not use any currency except the US dollar to trade oil. Why is that good? Because it basically would mean that the United States has total control over, who's using oil, where that goes, all those different things, basically a strong hand in the oil market. But when you actually go back and read the document, because all these channels point to, this agreement that was signed in June of 74. When you actually read that document, it has nothing to, it says nothing about trading the oil for US dollars and there being any kind of agreement that was going to be the case. It says nothing. Go read it. It's like 50 pages long. It says nothing about that. What it talks about is the dollars from the oil sales being basically funneled back into the United States in various ways. Literally, that's what it talks about. It does not talk about having to trade in US dollars, that oil for US dollars. Nope, does not. Craziness. And so I've seen this multiple times and no one calls BS on it. So that's first, because it's absolutely not true. Go read the document. It's not there. Okay. So secondly, so then I also heard that, okay, well, it's not, it's not in the document, but it's kind of an unspoken agreement. That's actually pretty interesting, right? Okay, I could see that. Hey, we're not putting it down on paper. Although, again, these same people who say that that's the case clearly haven't read the document itself, because it does not say that. Go read it. Go read it. It'll take you some time, but next time, you have Taco Bell or you eat at Buc-ee's and you need a good long toilet break, go start reading it. So you can familiarize yourself with, again, what these geniuses talk about, that they have no idea what they're talking about. Doesn't say that. But also, as a counter to that, if that was the case, either that it was an actual agreement or that it was a handshake agreement, that it wasn't actually a documented agreement, why did Saudi Arabia keep trading in other currencies for oil then? Like pound sterling. Because they did. So again, not true. Not true at all. And it's just complete BS. And it's funny that so many people fall for this kind of garbage that, the US this. It's really funny, that so many people ally themselves with, the downfall of the currency or this or that. And anything that points to that kind of thing, they just fall head over heels. They slurp it up because they want to see someone get back at the man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's completely understandable from a human nature standpoint. But just the conviction of people who clearly have no idea what they're talking about, but are ready to go and give an opinion about it, an informed opinion, mind you, about something like that. Craziness. Again, you don't believe me, go read the document, because it's clear in what it says, and it's very easy to find. You can find it in a PDF version, even though it's from the 70s. You can find the agreement. Nothing to do with that. Total BS. But these kind of things, again, they become pervasive because, all it takes is some moron on YouTube, either an old coin dealer who's just constantly, the libs, we're not a world. Stop. Shut up with that garbage. But also, like, other YouTubers who are just, anything to just, put out the fear or this or that, or they just want to, ridiculous. Again, it has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with, it's just, why are you talking about something when, first, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, which is very common. But secondly, like, something very specific such as that, which is easily able to be fact checked. Again, it's crazy. These kind of things, with regard to gold and silver, again, they tie in because it's, one of those things that stackers point to as, the downfall, or this is coming and blah, blah, blah. No. Again, like, what's happened during, the last 30, 40 years is really the disparity of wealth. I mean, basically, wealth's getting funneled upward, whether you like it or not. And you can find any boogeyman that you want to blame it on, but that's what's been happening. I mean, basically, it's the super wealthy and the poor. The middle class has been basically decimated and continues to do so. But these kind of things, pointing to them as the reason that, you're going to be proven right with gold and silver, again, if you're going to do that, at the very least, do yourself the favor of at least fact-checking these BS fearmongers that, again, don't know what the hell they're talking about, making it sound like it's something that it's not. It's kind of gross, but it happens all the time. And again, it's not anything political. It's just the fact that there's a constant demand for fear-mongering and, again, trying to turn something into a big thing when it really isn't. This is the world that we live in. But go check it for yourself.